yeah, you know those films that they're really, really like legally similar to stuff to trick old people into like buying them for their
Asylum
kids.
movies.
Yeah. We thought it was one like that, and it was called A Car's Life. We thought it was one like that because we watched a bunch of those like What's Up and Ratatouille. But it was called A Car's Life, and at the start it said a true father and son story, and it looked like just an awful rip-off of Cars. And then at some point, the mob, who are obviously played by Cars, kidnap the main heroes, and the girl is like the roof of her car is like crushed in on her by the mob. And it goes from like a really innocent kids film, and then just this one single scene, and then back to normal. But it has this thing of a true father-son story. It's like, is this the creator's way of saying that he knows about a mob here, about a girl's skull being bashed in front of his son? It's so jarring.
Yeah, but that's like The Mask. Well, I guess it's not the same because they cut it out. But, you know, The Mask is more or less a children's film, let's be honest. The reporter character in that, who ends up turning on Jim Carrey and turning him over to the villain, in a deleted scene, the villain actually kills her by crushing her to death in the printing press, and then the next day the newspapers are all inked in her blood. Seriously, I'm not joking.
Oh, that is... they do love that, though, don't they? Just having surprisingly dark bits in like a kids' film.
Well, to be fair, The Mask was directed by a guy who was like most known for horror films at the time. He did Nightmare on Elm Street 3. And then did The Mask, which is, in the comic books, is dark, I think. I've never read them.
Yeah.
But I'm given to understand that it's like massively violent. And for some reason they went, hey, PG-13.
So... shall we say hello? This is a special format. Shall we address the elephant in the room? Which you can now see the elephant in the room because
we're on video. Poor you having to look at this. But yeah, this is Behind the Haunting. We are back. We've been away for a little while, and we're videoing it now in this wonderful studio at Free Sprite Media, where we record. This is where we record Haunted.
This is indeed.
We record the episodes
if
here.
These walls could talk.
Amongst the costumes and the, let's be honest, the various items that get stored in here. Every time we come in to record, it's a bit of a surprise, isn't it? It's I wonder what will be in here.
Yeah, it's part of the game, isn't it? It's like, I wonder what eclectic items will be in here.
Oh, and it literally can be anything. Like, we've come in before and it's just film equipment, and you're like, well, that makes sense, it's a studio. Sometimes you come in, do you remember the time we came in and it was like all that safari gear, like the safari hat from Jumanji, and
yes,
like a bunch of fake Winchester rifles and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's been guns that have like studio firearms and all that have been painted different colours and all that. It's you never know what you're going to get, and then obviously there's the other stuff which you won't go into
the trade secrets.
Yeah.
So we wanted to chat to everyone a little bit about what they can expect coming up from Impala over the next sort of year and a half or so, kind of 2025 to 2026. And we also have some fan questions to answer a little bit later on. I think the key thing is we've actually been away for a little while, so just want to say hello to everyone again.
Yeah, it's been a big gap since we've released anything.
Yeah, I mean, we should address that, I guess, which is the gap has been a little bit longer than we'd intended, because season 3 of Haunted was supposed to be done by now, but this has kind of been... I don't want to say the first 2 seasons were easy, because they weren't, but I feel like we never had any real bad luck on the first 2 seasons. And then this season, we've been hit with a lot, although half of it is of my own design.
There's just lots of logistical stuff that's always gone wrong in the past. Nothing to this level. But season 2 was rushed into development because we thought that we were losing.
We thought we'd lose the audience, didn't we?
And we thought we were losing Luke.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, we thought we were well, no, we technically did lose Luke for 6 months or whatever it was, didn't we? He went away. This season, Isabella, who plays Abigail, has moved to America.
Yeah.
So that presented some new challenges. We're hoping no one will be able to tell in the actual episodes, but if they can, please bear with us because we're getting used to doing remote recording.
Yeah,
now
it should level out.
And then I suppose we should talk about the part that was my fault, because we haven't told anyone in any of the fans this yet. Season 3 of Haunted was originally supposed to be a musical. The first episode was originally supposed to be a musical. And I screwed the pooch on that. That was definitely me. Oh man, that was over ambitious. I'll tell you what that was. I played too much Alan Wake 2. That's what happened there. I played too much Alan Wake 2 with a lot of caffeine, and I was like, we could do this. We could totally do this. It worked for Buffy, and it didn't work out.
Yeah.
So there's been a few delays. But it's finally coming. Season 3 of Haunted is finally on its way.
It's not a musical this time. We should probably hasten to add. It's not a musical this time.
No. It's not a musical.
No.
We dropped the musical. I think we kind of went, you know what, let's stick to the thing that we know how to do. Because it's what the people want anyway.
There is still ambition. There is still new things tried. But yeah, we not putting... Learning to run before you walk, sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's...
Well, we've got a big surprise for everyone right at the end of the episode.
We do.
Foreshadow. But no, so Season 3... Well, actually, no, I think Lakes of the Moon will come out just before Season 3 now.
Yes.
Due to the delay. So should we talk about Lakes of the Moon first?
Yeah, absolutely. So we did... obviously, it's Red Odyssey. Go watch it now.
Listen to it now.
Red Odyssey. Go listen to it now. Catch up, because you'll kind of want to know. It's not... It's the same... Give me a second. It's part of the same universe, but they don't necessarily inform each other, but it's still great. Go listen to it. Then we bought it. We did VHS. Also great. Go watch... It's great. Go listen to that now. Get ready for Season 2's release. And yeah, it's all being pieced together as we speak. A lot of challenges to overcome in that one. That was a interesting undertaking, I'd say. Didn't account for just how many, not songs, because it's all source. It's not it's all diegetic. It's not whatever the opposite of that is.
Non-diegetic.
There's the opposite of source, though, isn't there?
Right.
Okay, a score. It's not score. Where people do sing, and the amount of actors that we kind of brought in and be like, hey, can you do an American accent? Hey, can you also sing in that American accent? And they're like, fuck off.
Yeah.
The amount who just kind of, the you see the smile leave their face, and they're like, I'm not that kind of actor, and then they just...
Yeah, that's been a learning experience, definitely.
Yeah. There's a lot of singing in it. Not to musical levels. Like it's definitely, it informs the story in the sense that they're singing like hymns and stuff, and there's a lot of like religious themes in it. But yeah, just having to, we don't really have the resources here either to be able to play people a feed of just the score and then let them like sing over it or anything like that. We don't really have the ability here, so you kind of have to go, hey, here's the video on YouTube, listen to it, pause, you sing, play again, and try and like figure it out there. We've had one actor came in with an AirPod in and tried to do it like that, but the problem is you get interference with the mic, so it's
we just upgraded to tablets. That's kind of where we're at. This is the first, literally this week is the first time we haven't printed physical scripts.
Yeah, but we are saving the environment, so
yeah, that's why we did it.
Yeah.
Not at all saving money in our own wallets.
No, that's
we were thinking about the environment.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's been a challenge in a good way. I'm not saying in a bad way. It's been a learning experience doing 2 shows at once.
Yeah. learning experience of let's never do that again.
Well, it's one of those difficult things, isn't it, where it's kind of necessary.
Yeah.
Because of the level we're at the moment.
It's something you could never do in TV. You could never do 2 TV shows at once, could you? You could feasibly do 2 audio dramas because we can kind of alternate. But even then, the problem was American accents and also not having the writer in the studio.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder when you can't just turn to the person who wrote it and we're like, what are your intentions with this scene?
Yeah.
Whereas, with Haunted, obviously, we're here.
Yeah. So we should stress that season 2 of Lakes of the Moon in a Veil has been written by the same writer as
Red
Odyssey and VHS. It is still Vincent Alastair, who, does a great job. He's gone bigger this season.
Yeah.
This is more than double the number of episodes Red Odyssey had.
Red Odyssey was 8. This chunk will be 14, but in total, I believe it's 32.
Right. So that's something like 4 times, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's starring Erica Sanderson, who was recently nominated for a Games Award against Silent Hill.
Yeah, for Hollow Body.
Yes,
which I have. I haven't played it yet, but I've got it.
No, I grabbed that in the sale. And then obviously Alison Cossett, who's just released her own audio drama called Partial Veil.
Partial Veil, yeah. Which, again, I haven't heard it yet, but all of the feedback I'm seeing on it is really good.
Yes, and it's tangentially related. It isn't anymore, but it was. I believe it was written to be the sequel to Red Odyssey, and then when Red Odyssey's original sort of development team fell apart, it kind of went off on its own path. Okay. So it is actually tangentially related. But
I did not know that. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's all quite a nice tight knit community. Yeah, but it sounds great. It's all coming along very nicely. Talon Winchester is joining the team as well as Mitch, the deputy. Just getting American actors is always, it's obviously it's harder in England where we don't have as many American actors around.
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest learning thing we've had so far this year, because if we move on to talking about Haunted Season 3, here's a fun announcement. Season 3 of Haunted has an arc where the characters go to the States.
Yeah.
And we haven't recorded most of those episodes yet. We've only really recorded one of them fully. And I think the thing we learned from that episode is we need to cast some actual Americans. We're so grateful to all the people who've come in and done American accents for us. Yeah. The problem is, you get the same problem you get a lot of the time when American actors do British accents, and they all default to the, oh, hello, how are you?
Yeah.
For some reason, when you say to British actors, default to an American accent, you get one of 2 flavors, which is thick 1930s New York, or Deliverance.
Yeah, no, there isn't really much in between, is there?
Which is not their fault at all.
No.
And we've sprung it on a couple of them, which I think is something else we've learned not to do going forward. So we will be... Basically, this is us saying that later on in the year, we'll be casting some actual Americans to do the second half of
Please send in your
3.
voice reel.
Yes. So Season 3 of Haunted consists of 10 stories of varying numbers of parts each. We've announced 4 of the episode titles so far, which is Kill Your Darlings, The Shadow Out of Time, The Rocking Horse, which is a brand new guest writer for us, Gemma Lloyd, has written that. Connor's Town is the 4th one, which sees fan favourite character Preston Connor's return. And that's also a real important one for the main story arc as well. We reveal some information in that. I don't think we're ready to reveal the other episode titles just yet.
Yeah, we can say that for later.
But we will say we've got, obviously, scripts written by both myself and Benton, but we also have a couple of guest writers. Aidan Barker-Dean is coming back, who wrote The Dark Menagerie in Season 2. That was an episode a lot of people seem to like. And Vincent Alastair, who writes Red Odyssey and Lakes of the Moon and In a Veil. He's written an episode for us as well. So it's 10 parts. It's going to be quite exciting, is the way it's shaping up. As everyone knows, at least everyone who's caught up with the storyline, if you haven't yet, sorry, I'm about to spoil it. We have a new main character this season as well, which is Cherie Hendry as Cassandra. And she's fitting in really well, I think. Everyone's recording together nicely. I think the group dynamic has it's there immediately. I found, which is good, because sometimes when you add a new character to something, you get like an awkward transition period. But I don't think we've had that, and hopefully the fans will agree. But yeah, what else we got on the docket, Benton?
Potentially a TV show. We're waiting for. There's a set currently in the studio that we're waiting to be disassembled, but the film was supposed to be shot a few months ago hasn't been shot yet, so it's sort of been pushed back a little bit. But we are hoping to shoot a TV series.
Yeah, whether it will air on TV or not, we're not sure. It might end up being a web series.
I think it will mostly be. It'll be shot in the sense that it is a. Because when you say web series, you're kind of expecting, I don't know about you, but I expect like the things from like the early 2000s that were like
right.
really low budget sort
of.
Yeah. Whereas it will be like a TV show that is on a streaming site.
Yeah. Is the hope. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that we should be hopefully seeing that soon.
But that's a comedy.
That is indeed.
That is a comedy created by Benton here. I don't know how much you want to reveal on it yet, or if you just want to leave it at that.
I think we'll just, I think better left. We'll see. But it does relate to all the work that we do at Impala somewhat. Quite. If you enjoy the Impala shows, you will see things within them that are like almost like being part of the inside joke sort of thing. And if you don't watch them, it's fine. You don't need to watch it to understand the stuff that goes on in this show.
Fantastic.
I think that's pretty much what I'd say about that.
No problem. We have one more thing.
We do. We'll say that's the end.
But we're gonna hold on to that one
until
the end to cruelly make sure people watch the entire video.
Exactly.
And because we want to end on a big bang.
Exactly.
So before we get on to that, we want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has listened to the show so far, everyone who has supported the show, all of the wonderful people who support us on Patreon, who join our Discord and engage with us in conversation. It's a great time. And as a creator, especially an indie creator where, what's the word I'm looking for? We've got restrictions on us that say a big company doesn't have.
Yeah.
I.e. we both have to work day jobs and do this on the side. It's just so fulfilling and gratifying to have that direct contact with the fans and know that people are really enjoying it. So we asked them to send us in some questions for sort of a ask us anything type.
We did indeed.
Situation.
Which one do you want to start us off with?
So these are all questions that came from our Discord supporters. So our first question is from user Night Rosebud. Actually, that should be Night Rosebud. I don't know why I said it like Night Rosebud, like it's Night Rosebud. I don't know why I said it that way.
It is a rose of the night that is budding, essentially.
Yeah. Whereas I was saying it more like
night
bud
rose,
as in friend.
Bud. Yeah.
Sup, bro. So they asked, I loved how you included the Calicanzaurus for the Christmas special. And are there any other foreign supernatural creatures you would like to immigrate to the British Isles so you could feature them in an episode? That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah.
We do try and borrow from a lot of real world mythology.
Absolutely.
And build it into the show. So, have you got any from around the world that you'd like to stick in there?
I feel Charlie's...
I feel like Charlie's answer doesn't Oh, actually, I might be about to be controversial.
What, does Welsh count as foreign?
I was about to say it doesn't really count because it's still part of the British Isles. But then again, all the Welsh listeners now might be like, oi, we're not part of you dirty Englishmen.
There is the story, yes, of the Welsh horse at Christmas who comes to visit you, and you have to engage each other in a rap battle, and should you lose to the horse, they are allowed to steal all your liquor.
We should do Haunted Rat Battle.
Yeah, that does, which sounds very funny.
And it would want to steal James's liquor because he's always got liquor. So.
Yeah, exactly. So he has something to lose there. He's got a real connection there.
For some reason, I just got an image of James doing Stan by Eminem with Abigail singing the Dido parts. It's Carl Trevino writing to him.
Right. There's some Irish ones.
Sorry, Dan could do Without Me. This looks like a job for me.
So we're just doing Eminem's catalogue at this point. There's some Irish ones that are quite interesting, like the Banshee and stuff like that. And we've kind of dabbled in Fae, some Norse myth. And I find obviously mythology very fascinating. I'm always a little bit guilty of dipping into Greek mythology. But no, I think there's creatures within all the mythos that they definitely would be like, yeah, absolutely, I'd love to bring that in.
Yeah, in Dark Menagerie we had the Chinese jumping vampire, didn't we?
Yes, and the abominable snowman.
Yeah,
I believe is that Tibetan mythology. I think so. Yeah, because he's supposed to live in the Himalayas.
Yeah. I would love to do something like... I don't know how I'd get him in without it being a joke. We've referenced him as a joke quite a lot. Would be something like the Mothman. Just because that's a great story. Or the Chupacabra.
Yeah, or Bigfoot. I think the thing about Bigfoot as well is that, yeah, it's so hard not to make it be like a parody sort of thing, isn't it? I mean, I watched one of those Bigfoot hunting things, and they take it so seriously. They take themselves so seriously, it's hard not to find it funny. And then there's like a massive sexual element to it as well, isn't it? There's like people really like fetishize Bigfoot.
Yeah, oh yeah. We did, what a lot of listeners won't know is we actually did a live episode of Haunted at the Chelmsford Radio Festival that actually had Greek sirens.
Yes. I'd love to do like a German one, but like straight from the nursery rhymes ones, because their nursery rhymes are always like so brutal. Just like, it's the scuba doober. If you don't leave out cookies, he'll cut off your hands.
Why not? Why not? I mean, I think there's a limited number of things we won't do on the show.
Yeah.
But the beauty of a show like Haunted, what I really wanted to capture with it, was that thing that X-Files had in its peak, where because it was so... People say to us, why is there so many episodes a season? So you can experiment.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. That's when X-Files was at its peak, it had some really left field episodes that you wouldn't do if it was only 6 to 10 episodes a season.
Yeah. Because
you wouldn't run the risk of wasting an episode on it.
No.
But when you got 24 episodes in a season, you can do one where it's... One of the ones I'm thinking of, it's really worth watching, even if you don't really like the X-Files, because it's great. There's an episode in season 3 called Jose Chung's from Outer Space. It's all from the point of view of a writer called Jose Chung, who is writing a book about UFOs. Mm. So Mulder and Scully are only tangentially in the episode, and it's him going around doing various interviews with people about a supposed UFO incident they've all seen, but they all tell the story completely differently.
Right.
And this guy claims that like Mulder was an android and Scully threatened him, and there's a bit where he talks about the Men in Black visiting him, and then it plays that scene like it's a flashback, but the Men in Black are Alex Trebek and Jesse the Body Ventura. And it's just like, what? But yeah, so I think keep on, not to use a cheesy answer, but keep on listening, because we've got some things planned.
Yeah, we have a Middle Eastern mythological creature in this season, as well as several other ones from all over. So yeah. Stay tuned.
Okay, so our next question. So this one is from user Scarlett Trenton. She asked, what is a horror movie that you cannot watch all the way through, either because it's too scary or because it's so bad? If it's too scary, why is it too scary? And if it's too bad, why is it too bad?
I think growing up in the Wild West of the internet, I was in that perfect band where the internet was easier to get than when you had to have like the modem and the like the landlines and modems and all that. And it was just before companies were like, "Hey, let's start putting adverts on things and start, you can't say this, you can't say that." And suddenly everything was a bit more where you would come into school one day and someone would be like, "Hey, here's a beheading," and so
Yeah.
you would just see. I don't know.
The most twisted shit.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of I went to an all-boys school as well, so which is something that we have a lot of in England, and they're the fucking worst. But every time you went round to a friend's house at night, they'd be like, "Hey, have you heard of this video from Ukraine of 3 guys killing someone with a hammer?" And you'd be like, "Wow, fucking hell! I've just lost my innocence." And that by the time you've reached 18, after seeing all that stuff, I think gore and horror and stuff, I'm just so desensitized to that sort of stuff that at least in a film environment, I'm sure if it happened in real life I would be shit myself, but in a film environment it just, and I think that's quite a problem we're having with a lot of that, and also just CGI is just in your face the entire time. So I can't think of anything that I can't watch the whole way through because it's too scary. But too bad, if a film is too bad and I haven't finished it, I need a list. Yeah. The list is endless. Troll 2, I think, is one that I didn't finish. I watched for the oh my god. There's so many. There's so many bad horror films that aren't good bad, just bad, and I would happily skip them. If a film doesn't grab me in the first half hour, dumb.
Yeah. I can't actually think of the names, which feels like a cop-out, but I have got quite a few that I start watching them and I'm like, I know exactly where this is going. Yeah. I don't care for it. Yeah. I'm going to switch it off.
Oh, Ghost Story. There you go. That was one I couldn't finish because it was so bad.
I wasn't a big fan of Ghost Stories either. The British film with Martin Freeman. Yeah, it's like the play, the stage version. Yeah, is heralded as this wonderful thing, and maybe it is different from the film. Yeah, but the film, I did watch it.
When it got to that the twist at the end, where it's like he was in a coma the whole time. I was like, fuck off. Yeah, I stopped watching, but I'm pretty sure that's the final scene. Yeah, but okay, counterpoint, or flipping it, one film that has stuck with you rather than one that's...
Well, I do have a couple that... I've never had one that I turned off, but I've got a couple from when I was a lot younger, like a child, that we started watching and ended up turning off. So I remember the first time we ever watched Night of the Living Dead, the 1990 version. Right. My dad put it on. We were very young, me and my brother and sister, and I'm not even joking. We made it to the first zombie, which is right at the beginning. It's literally
in the graveyard. Yeah, they're coming to get you, Barbara.
And my sister was like, "Turn it off." And I tell you the funniest one, because having watched it back as an adult, it's not a good film, and it's not a scary film.
Isn't the George Romero one or the remake?
Oh, no, that is a good film. Yeah. The remake, that is a good film. This next one that I'm about to mention is not a good film. At least it's definitely not a great film, especially from this director who does a lot of really good films. But when I was about 12, I did get freaked out by John Carpenter's Ghosts of Mars, which is not... I've watched it back as an adult and was like, what the fuck was I worried about?
I was going to say, so a film that stuck with me, I was going to stick with John Carpenter and say the thing. Yeah. There's one of those, any horror film where the heroes do everything right and still lose is always a film that kind of sticks with me. Because there's a lot of times where you can kind of put yourself in a film and be like, oh, that fucking idiot, why didn't they just do this, and this? It kind of takes you out of it. Yeah. Whereas things like The Thing, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, The Wicker Man, the original Wicker Man, you're kind of just watching going that there isn't anything I could do differently. Yeah. If you're in this situation, you've already lost.
Yeah, that's what's so good about when I finally went back and watched the 1990 Night of the Living Dead. They really they do a really good job of capturing this sense of inevitability. Yeah. Of, oh, you are screwed.
Which is hard to do with zombies, because zombies are one of those ones that are really easy to be like, oh, this is not a threat.
Yeah, zombies nowadays especially, I think, have just become cannon fodder. They're not even taken seriously as enemies anymore.
No.
But yeah, in terms of ones that have stuck with me, I mean, Nightmare on Elm Street, obviously, it changed my entire life. It is the reason that I am here in this studio now, still trying to make films. Psycho is an incredible film. I love Hitchcock.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, the film that scared me the most, and the film as a whole is not scary, it's one scene that freaks me out, is actually Silent Hill.
You're right.
When they burn the little girl alive, I hate that scene, and I don't know why. I tell you what, I do know why, actually. The makeup is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it's the fact she breaks the fourth wall and she glares straight into the camera.
There is something quite unsettling about the feeling of being watched.
Yeah. It's when she's laying on the hospital bed and she's just looking into the camera, and I'm like, oh god, no.
Yeah, horror games that you can't finish is a bit of a wider margin. I think horror games tend to get that feeling a bit better, because obviously with a horror film, if something's scaring you, you just press fast forward. Whereas like a horror game, like if you reach a point you can't get through, there's unless you can skip it, you have to push through this. I mean, like Five Nights at Freddy's, I wouldn't say is scary in that it's like a not well made experience, but it is just that unsettling feeling of knowing that like you're it's just taking advantage of your amygdala, because it's just a loud sound with a big flash of color, but you know it's coming, and it's just I personally couldn't get into the game because you're just there like, oh, here it comes, like headphone off a bit, like this is gonna fucking hurt, like it's
okay. So our final set of questions, this person actually sent a few in, so are you ready for a speed round? This is from user Twiglets, who has been on Discord for a while. I think probably one of the first people that was on it, actually.
Yeah, it was a Patreon member. I remember seeing Twiglets are great through Patreon.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm interested to know, what are your biggest challenges at the moment, writing-wise, with Haunted?
Burnout.
But yeah,
it's burnout.
It's A, Jamie decided to make a musical.
Yeah.
And B, it's burnout. Yeah. We have, I mean, I don't want to do a woe is me thing, but because this is the best job in the world, and one day hopefully it will be our full-time job and not having to do a day job.
Yeah.
But when you think about the length of Haunted episodes, they are the length, script-wise, they're the equivalent of a feature film.
Yeah, and we're doing 8 to 10 of them a year.
Yeah.
It's not so much, it's not writing Haunted that's hard, it's just writing Haunted. It's just writing one thing for 3 years continually.
Yeah.
That burns you out.
Yeah. I actually, the other day, I've not been able to write for like 2 weeks. I've just been completely, every time I open the script I'm working on at the minute, I look at it and I'm like, it's just not, the gears are grinding against each other, they're not working.
Yeah.
So the other day I tried this old trick Vince Gilligan always says, just write something else, just anything else, even if it's something you're never going to release, just write it. I literally, in a single sitting, wrote the opening chapter to a Resident Evil 3 fanfiction.
How erotic is it?
No, it's not at all. It's literally just a novelization of the game.
Right.
But it worked in the sense that, because I wasn't having to make up the story, I already knew the story, but I just had to find ways to phrase it. For the first time in ages, I sat and did an hour of solid writing. And I wrote something like 3,000 words.
Yeah. There's tips I've heard, like try and describe the inside of a ping pong ball before you start writing. Just gets the juices flowing, sort of thing. Just it's why almost both episodes that I've written aren't actually related that much to the main characters, is because I kind of sat down and was like, I can't write.
Need a break.
Yeah, I need a break. Next question, go on.
Next,
we're rapido, because you've only got 20 odd minutes left on the SD card.
Rapido. Question 2. What comes first, the plot or the characters?
In the sense of what is more important to the...
I think I interpreted it as when you're creating the episode.
Right. Okay, because I was going to say, like, I think, generally speaking, as far as the story is concerned, the characters are always the most important thing, and then the plot. But,
yeah.
Which is something I've had to come to terms with, because I've always been quite plot heavy, but yeah. it's not so much a character.
It varies for me.
Yeah, it's more the idea. At least Shadow Out Time, I just said the idea in my head was I wanted to do a con man who started by conning the living and then started conning the unliving, and then kind of built around that idea. I had the character and then the story, but that isn't always the way it is.
No, sometimes it's the story, and like, wouldn't it be great if there was a story where you invert the Little Red Riding Hood myth?
Yeah.
And it turns out the wolf is the innocent and Red Riding Hood's the bad guy.
Yeah.
But sometimes, in the case of Haunted as a whole, way back when I first came up with it in 2010, it was the characters first that popped in my head. Those characters don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
But even with this newest interpretation of it, I came up with James and Abigail and Dan first.
Yeah.
And then built the plot around them,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Question 3. Are you a pantser or a plotter when writing? So I think this means, do you plan out what you write, or do you fly by the seat of your pants?
Right. Both, and I've found that the ones where I've tried to go discovery are the scripts that I more often than not don't finish. As long as if I know kind of where I'm going, you can kind of enjoy a little bit of discovery and then kind of rein it back in. But if I just go into something entirely discovery, I usually run out of steam about halfway, and I have so many projects that are entirely discovery that never made it to the end.
Yeah, I've kind of changed as I've gotten older. I used to always write discovery. A lot of my season 1 episodes are discovery.
Yeah.
And I have started finding, and I think it's because my work life has gotten so much more stressful as I've been promoted and things, that I have less brain capacity when I'm writing in the evening.
Yeah.
If I don't plan out, I forget what's happening.
Yeah.
And that's been I think I've said this before, so I won't harp on it, but that has been the biggest surprise for me of doing Haunted, is how easily you can forget your own scripts. There are times when we'll be in here recording, and it'll be a script I wrote 6 months ago. We'll be recording it, and I'll be like, oh yeah, that happens in this one. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
You know? Question 4. Which of the other characters would you have liked to portray, if at all, and is there anything you would change now about a character? I have had some regrets in recent months about committing to the James Hunter voice.
Well, just
kind of wish I hadn't done it, because it hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts to do it, and I don't think... I don't pretend to be a professional voice actor. I've always been a stage actor and a film actor.
Yeah.
I am convinced that the James Hunter voice does not sound the same from episode to episode. It's always just this kind of... it's roughly in the ballpark of, my name is James Hunter, down here.
Yeah.
And then every now and again, especially if he has to shout or get emotional, that disappears and it becomes Zach Dingle from Emmerdale. And you're just like, oh, bloody hell, like that. You know what I mean?
We're going to turn down to man.
So I kind of regret that a little bit. I like it in the sense that it makes James stand out.
Yeah.
But it's not even close to... It was me attempting to imitate the 12th Doctor and do that sort of... Not make him Scottish, but have him be gruff and grumpy. And, yeah, I kind of regret it a little bit. But people seem to like it. If they don't, they should let us know. Send us a message saying, hey, stop doing the James Hunter voice. But I wouldn't want to play any of the other characters. I love James. It's the character I've played the most in my entire life.
Yeah. Yeah.
How about you? Would you like to play anyone? Other than the multiversal Bentons?
Yeah. No, I prefer that, to be fair.
Now,
obviously, as same as you, I came from a sort of background of stage acting. I hate hearing my voice. It sounds so much better in my head, and then I hear it through a recording. I fucking hell, I hate the sound of my voice. Which you'd think I wouldn't, or you think I would love the sound of my voice because of just how much just shit I chat all the time. But it's just one of those things of you don't actually hear the same sound waves. But I can't. I try and edit even when I do like the little micro parts. Like 9 times out of 10, I'll hear it and just be like, oh god, I wish I did that differently, sort of thing. Or I hate in there. So no, there's no one I'd like to portray. I'm perfectly happy in production and writing. and happy just coming out to do little bit parts here and there in Haunted.
Now that Marvel have abandoned their Kang the Conqueror plans, do you reckon we can steal that and have it turn out that this multiversal Benton?
I would rather it be the Mysterio thing that they were building up to in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, where Bruce Campbell, it just happens to be like 10 different people around the city who all just take the piss out of Peter Parker.
Yeah. Okay, next question. Do you have a preference? I think I know where we're going to land on this one. Do you have a preference for shorter or longer episode format?
Yeah, as the one who's edited the majority of them, shorter.
From a writing perspective, though.
Shorter too. I 100% side with it's quoting Charlie Kelly of all people, but saying he sides with the Bard on brevity.
Yeah.
I can't stand things that are bloated. Not saying that Haunted is bloated, but I will take 10 words over 1,000 any day.
Yeah.
And my favourite Shakespeare is Macbeth, which I believe is his shortest.
Right.
I just can't stand bloat, and I can't. I think you are allowed fluff here and there, but it's one of those ones that's got to be spaced out, or else it becomes indulgent.
Yeah.
I just think a story should be as long as it needs to be, and no more.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with that. I think there are some of my Haunted episodes where if I'd have had time to do another pass on them, probably could have had some trimmed. But a lot of the ones that are longer kind of need to be longer because there's so much crammed into them.
Yeah.
It's more a case where I think the error I'm making is not spreading the plot-heavy episodes out more, maybe.
I mean, you said you're emulating the speech doctor at the end of the day. A lot of the bulk of it is speeches.
Yeah. I think... Fun fact, thing to look forward to this season, I think James is less speech-heavy this season.
I think just generally we both went really light on narration and just kind of moved away from it. But
we've got 4 main characters now, you can't be doing speeches for one of them. How did you go about choosing music or a composer for the show? Well, a lot of the music is royalty free that we get from a library.
That guy over there bought you can't see him, but it's Charles or Dr. Bachman who bought a massive library of music, a fucking huge amount, and that has kept us going 3 seasons.
Yeah, and we use
James Crow as well.
We do indeed have James Crow.
Yeah. So we use story blocks as well, which I remember I spent hours on there one night picking the song that plays in prom night at the prom where they dance because for some reason that was important to me. James Crow did the Haunted theme.
He did
I don't even remember how that came about. I think it was just one of those fortuitous things where I met him at a networking event. He said, "Hey, I do music." I said, "Hey, I
need music.
I've just got a show off the ground. We need a theme tune for it.
Yeah.
How much would you charge me?" It was a reasonable price. Yeah. So we were like, yeah, okay.
Fucking metal pipe meme just in the background.
And the final question is, will you be adding other creators and shows to Impala films in the future?
I would say that's a case-by-case basis. Other shows, yes, we're both planning. I'm planning an audio drama potentially. I'm planning obviously a TV show that we're shooting. So that'll be stuff that's going to be working with other creators. If we meet a creator who's keen for it, we're not currently planning to, but you never know who you meet.
Have I ever told you I've got an idea for a film teaser where me and you play a pair of con men who they go to Billericay to sell tornado insurance and they con everyone in Billericay into buying tornado insurance. Everyone buys it, so then they go on like
and then
a piss up, and then there's a tornado and the whole town turns on them. And like almost like a Shaun of the Dead thing, but without zombies. They all get locked in the local pub.
Yeah.
With everyone being like, "Get out of here now." I'm serious. That's actually an idea I've got that I'm kind of tangentially
shoot that
on.
As a fake trailer for something else.
Yeah.
You like they did in Grindhouse and Tropic Thunder.
Yeah. But no, I mean, obviously I'm not going to bore people with details, but I think we can say the long-term plan is we both want Impala to get bigger. We want it to be we want this to be our career, our full-time thing.
Yeah.
We don't want to do our day jobs anymore. God damn it, we want to do creative, imaginative things. And it's so great that there are people out there who support us in that.
Yeah.
I don't know who we will add in the future. Like you said, that depends on the contacts we make.
Asking is free at the end of the day. If you have project ideas, like, send us an email. But at the same time, like, you know, is fitting it into an incredibly busy schedule and making sure that it fits with the portfolio that we are creating here.
We're kind of in an awkward position at the minute, aren't we? Where really the next step we need to take is quitting our day jobs, because they are limiting the new things we can take on. And they just gave us a nice little message at the end where they said, thanks for all the dedication and hard work you put into the production of your shows and interactions with us, and remember to take time out for yourselves as well.
That last bit's the hard bit.
Yes.
Because even when I do, all I see in my head is Haunted.
Yeah, I'm the same. Anytime I try and consciously take time off, maybe I can do it for like a day. Say I plan to take like a week off.
Yeah, you just feel guilty, don't you?
I can do it for like a day, and then the guilt sets in. But also kind of the itch to do it as well, because at the end of the day, this is the thing I enjoy most in my life, is writing and creating.
Yeah, I think if you'd ever told a younger me that I'd be the kind of person who works on his holidays, I would have laughed at you. But the amount of times where, like, P and I've been out and I, like, get a phone call or a message or an email or something, and I'm like, I can't switch off anymore.
Yeah. Okay. So it's the big time.
It is indeed.
We're going to wrap up by announcing something, and we have agonized over whether or not to announce this yet, but we've decided we're going to. It is one of the other reasons that we're so burned out at the minute, and the season's been a little bit delayed. This year, later this year, so it's not happening like tomorrow, we are shooting Haunted the movie. The script exists in first draft at the minute. It's currently being redrafted, but the locations are booked. The lead actors are all signed on. Yep. They're all returning.
Investors are interested.
We've got the money. Me and Benton are directing. And we're doing Haunted the movie, which is so exciting and so much pressure. But it's, you know, we are called Impala Films. The audio drama thing was
a means to an end during COVID.
It was a way of doing something when you couldn't do anything else. We love it and we enjoy it, and we probably will keep doing it for as long as we want to. But it feels really good that we're going to have a film off the ground, and it's so good that it's with something that we already have fans for.
Yeah. If you are excited for this, please show it in the comments, and we can always, you know, just know if people, you know, generate buzz, generate interest. Absolutely, please do.
But we can't really say anything else on it yet. No plot details, I'm afraid. No. And we can't even give you a release date yet. All I know is
James jumps a shark. He literally jumps a shark on a skateboard.
Well, after finding those prop swords in here, it's going to end in an epic sword fight now, I think. Yeah. With a possessed knight in shining armor, maybe. We're basically just going to do Army of Darkness. How about that?
I'd be down for that. I'm so down for that.
We don't have that much money. No. But yeah, and that will probably come out sometime in 2026, because it takes ages to edit films.
Potentially, yeah.
Because we're not shooting till September.
No, it's being shot in September.
But yeah. Anyway, I think that's about it. So
I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, thank you everyone for taking the time to watch this video or listen to this episode. Thank you for all of your support on Patreon, on Discord, or even if you just tell a friend about the show. All of that means so much to us. We are so happy that we get to bring you all of this content this year. Sorry for the drought. It has been a bit of a content drought. Apologise. Yeah, you know, it'll be coming to an end very shortly. Yeah, what's it been, like 4 months? I think November was it when Last Indigo wrapped up? Yeah. But in theory, we'll have you covered for the rest of the year now. So So I guess comment, join the Discord. Lots of fans there chatting away. So, you know, please get involved. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you later.
Thank you to Luke for filming this, and thank you for Charlie for doing sound. And
Yeah.
they'll be also helping out on the movie. Well, Luke's DOP, so yeah, so, helping out. He's doing the whole fucking thing. So anyway, thank you guys.
See you, everybody.
Right, that wasn't recording at all. Go again, guys.
That was good practice.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
shit, I left it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.